I'm interviewing my mom about the 2000s, and the first thing I'd like to ask you about is how you remember 9/11. It can either be how you felt about it or where you was.
I remember I was working my first job at Rochester County Hospital, and we were in orientation. And we got a break, and I went upstairs to talk to my mom, and her friend was watching TV, and the first plane had already struck the first tower. And then, as we were watching live on TV, the second plane struck the next tower. And we couldn't believe what was happening. So I was asking my mom, I was like, is that what just really just happened in real time? And she said, yeah, the second plane had just hit the second tower. And everyone was just in disbelief for weeks, months on end. Nobody could believe what had happened. And it was all over the news, everywhere, 24/7.
Was you worried about your safety at all?
A little bit, yeah. I think everyone was worried, you know, that something bad was going to happen. And we didn't know if something bad was going to happen again in another place. So everyone was just kind of on edge about it.
Okay. So how do you remember the economics being in the 2000s, and how did you feel about it?
I remember the economy being very good, and gas was cheap, food was cheap, life was just pretty good, and you didn't need a whole lot of money back then to get by. And I got my first job in 2001.
What was that like?
It was good. My first job was at Renfro Valley, and I loved it. And I worked two jobs. I worked at Renfro Valley, and I also worked at Rochester County Hospital through the co-op program through the school.
Did you get paid for your co-op?
Yes, I got paid for my co-op.
How much did you get paid?
I think the minimum wage then was $4.25 an hour, and that's what I made there and at Renfro. But it was enough for me to buy a car, which was pretty cheap back then, pay my own insurance, gas, and make big purchases that I wanted to make for myself when I got my first job.
And during the 2000s, did you feel like America was a safe and good place to live?
Yes, everything felt very safe back then, and there wasn't social media back then where everything's in your face, where everything's 24/7, like bad news all the time. Everything just seemed a lot safer.
And then when Bill Clinton became president, what was your opinions on that?
So I was in second grade the first year, I believe, when Clinton ran against Bush. And I wanted Bush to win, but Clinton won. But he actually turned out not to be a terrible president because under Clinton, the economy was very good. And people were able to live a good life under his administration and his economy.
Was there anything about the 2000s that we haven't talked about that you'd like to add on?
Yeah, it was just a good time to be a teenager because I was a teenager in the 2000s, and those were my high school years, and everything just seemed more relaxed and laid back, more slow paced than everything is today. And there was no social media, so that was good. So people kind of interacted with each other more then.
What was your source of entertainment in the 2000s?
MTV, burnt CDs, and yeah, movies were popular, and everybody talked about different TV shows and movies that they would watch the next day. It wasn't like instant information like it is now.
So comparing 2000s to now, would you think the 2000s, or would you say 2000s is better than now?
Yes, I would. Just because, like I said, no social media, and people seemed to interact better with each other back then. We did have cell phones, but they had just come out. There was no smartphones. So people had more face-to-face interaction then than they do now.
So you feel like phones has made us deprogress as a
Yes, in a way, yeah. There's good and bad in it, but yeah.
Okay. There's not anything else you'd like to add on to this interview. I believe that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.